All right, let's do this. Hi everybody, Jim from County Corvette here. I have a really great 67 390 factory air convertible here for sale. This car is a California car. Now that may not mean much anymore to some people, but back in the day, California cars were special, and this one is special because this was always kept in a climate like it is here today, perfect weather in Pennsylvania. Now it's not always perfect in here in Pennsylvania. A lot of times we have snow and ice, frozen rain, and they put salt on the roads. Well, they don't do that in California. This thing's always been in a perfect climate, and it was in California for a long time. I have the NCRS documentation showing the original delivery to a dealer out there. And the other thing is I believe this is a real 54,000 mile car. This dash has never been touched. The original gauge cluster, never removed, dash pads and all that. It's had seat covers, I think maybe door panels and carpets. But otherwise, you know, bone original. And that, you know, that tells the story. Original window glass, original fiberglass, unhit original front. I mean, all the boxes are checked on this. As I said, it's an air car, but it also is an air car with factory air conditioning that is 55 years old, and it still works. I mean, think about that. The air conditioning in your home, after 10 years, it's junk. You get it. You'd be out of your mind to, you know, suggest to a HVAC guy that your 40-year-old system, 55-year-old system should be functioning as it should. You'd be laughed out you know, off the phone call. But here we have a 55-year-old air conditioning system, still with R12, that still blows ice cold. And that tells the story of this car. The other thing that tells the story of this car is the chassis. This is probably the nicest chassis I've ever seen. I mean, I've seen a lot of nice cars. This chassis is untouched original. And what does that mean? What it means is the tar emulsion paint is still on the chassis. These things were made and they were dipped upside down and then pulled out of a vat of tar emulsion paint, and the drips went what appears to be up, but they were done upside down. It still has that. You can see it. You can still see the tar paint on this chassis. It's not been touched up anywhere. There's some surface rust, but it's just really an incredibly well-preserved car. The body's never been off the car. So this is a really special car. Now, the downsides, it was painted red. It was originally Goodwood Green black. It was not originally a side exhaust car. That was added. Those are minor things. It is an original engine. It's not a restamp. The engine was properly rebuilt. We've got documentation for that. This car was professionally worked on over the years. I've got tons of receipts on it. It was worked on. This car also spent some time in Scottsdale, Arizona, another perfect climate. And I've got receipts from a Corvette specialist out there that, you know, did work on the car. Professional engine and transmission rebuild. So it's just a sweetheart, and we're in the low hundreds on this car. I mean, there's junk out there for 150. You know, you'd be out of your mind to pay that, but people aren't afraid to ask it. You can't go wrong on this car. You can't go wrong. A wrong red's better than a right green too, by the way. And the car really pops. It's got eyeball. It sits right. This is just a really good car. So that's my sales pitch. Like I said, you can't go wrong on this car. So if you're in the market for mid-year, stop up, buy this one. You'll thank me. I promise. You will be thankful you bought the car. So we're going to take this thing for a ride. I'm actually pretty excited about that because it's, you know, I started my morning here. I left my house and there's a gigantic bald eagle in a tree near my pond, and so I'm like all American Friday here. No better car to test drive on this Friday. I'm feeling good, and I think you're going to feel good after this test drive. Okay. Okay, this thing feels nice. The AC's nice and cool. It's still morning here. It's about 10:15 or so in the AM, so it's not super hot out yet. I'm starting to get up the temperature. This thing's got all the right sounds and feels. 67 big block is just the coolest mid-year. I know you guys like your 63 split windows, and I can't argue that they are just a timeless and stunningly beautiful car, but they don't drive like a 67. No sir. 67 drives like a car. I mean, you can road trip these bad boys. Side exhaust. I mean, this is just, it's just cool. It's just cool. Well, my gauges are working right. That's everything feels nice on this one. Now, we ran through this in the shop, a couple minor things. We've serviced it for the prior owner. We did do a couple brake calipers on this thing. They were leaking. It's pretty standard, you know, on any of these cars. Now, you let them sit, they just, you know, they just start seeping. So we only change them in pairs. So we did the front set over, and feels nice strong brake pedal, not power assist. Oh, that's the other thing too. This thing had power brakes added. Excuse me, power steering added. This transmission's really done right too. I can feel it. So the guys who did the engine and trans, they did this thing right. I mean, I can just tell. So it's good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, this is a cool car. I would own it. I would own this one for sure. Actually, you know, even though this is the wrong color, you could take this car and get an NCRS judge, and it'd do pretty damn well. There's just a lot of really nice original stuff on this car. If you wanted to take it back to green, and I wouldn't do that, me personally. I would leave it just the way it is. Clock doesn't work. I'm sure it's the old movement in there. That's not unusual. Easy fix to quartz conversion, etc. So anyway, it is a nice car. There's just so much crap out there, cobbled together crap. And anytime I see an original unhit front on a car, well, you know, you got a big block convertible that's never been damaged in the front. That's special. That's a special car. So take it from, you know, take it from me or take it from somebody else. You know what I tell people is just go look at the cars. When you're looking to buy, my best customers are guys who have had a lot of cars and have had some bad ones and know a good one from a bad one. And you can take my word for it, because everything I tell you is actually, you know, absolutely accurate. But I turn down a lot of cars because I'm not going to put my name on them. They're crap. They're expensive crap, and I don't want to represent them. I don't want to sell that type of car to somebody that's just going to be a negative experience, and I don't want that on my watch. This car is going to be fun for you. You're going to need to maintain it. Yeah, shit's going to break. You know, Sorry for my language, but that's the way it is. All right, let's do this. All right, so this thing runs good. It's loud. I can tell you, I don't think the secondaries are kicking in the way they should. It's not making a lot of upper RPM power. It should roll right up the red line at, you know, just under 6,000, 5,800 or whatever. But it's just not getting enough fuel. So I don't know if the carb's not set up right, but what I can say is, though, the engine itself, it feels like it's got really strong compression. Everything's, you know, transi's butter smooth. So you know, most people are going to drive the way I show you on my test drives, but at some point, you know, another carburetor, timing, something's not quite where it should be. Although the timing feels right on it. So my guess, I am, you know, a mechanic by trade, former mechanic. I don't work on much unless it's an emergency. But that's just my feel is it's not, the secondaries aren't pushing enough fuel in there. And that's very common for these Holley 4 barrels. So my advice on that is put a replacement on there, and you have a lot less problems. And what's the point? Unless you're judging it, why have an original? But it runs good. I mean, there's no missing or breaking up at the upper RPM. It just feels like it's starving a little for fuel. So it's typically in the float adjustments, that type of thing. Anyway, great car. I just love seeing stuff like the original dash screws that have never been touched. They have a certain black oxide finish on them, and a lot of times they rusted because there wasn't a lot of protection. But again, being a car that lived in a perfect climate, it's just dialed in. But all my temperature and oil pressures, you know, spot on. I got just a positive amp flow. Just cool. Just really good car, guys. So, this is the one you're looking for. If you're looking for, you know, 67 big block car, this is the one to buy. All right, you're not going to find anything out there better for less money, for sure. You're going to find them out there for a lot more money. Anything close to this quality. All right, so hey, thanks for watching. I enjoyed this test drive. I'm enjoying my Friday. And thanks for sharing a little bit of your time with me. And please keep subscribed as we have lots of new stuff in. And just one quick question. Would you rather have a incorrect red or a correct green? Very curious. Thanks for watching.